means, and he's all surprised that people would think he does that, which is crazy for him not to be aware of that. But I guess we are talking about Bert here, so it's not that surprising. And I don't think anybody really expects him to change that much at this point, but it sounds like since Ari's comment really got to him, he started to think about it more, and he had to ask his wife and Tom to explain to him how he makes everything about himself. And Tom had to spend like a whole podcast basically being his therapist.
Well, people are like
it sounds like
Ari,
you're coming to terms with it.
Ari said, you always make it about yourself. And Tom, I couldn't understand I don't know what that sentence means. Like,
really?
I really don't. And I don't know how I do it. And I said it to Leanne in Paris and I said, do I make things about myself? She goes, yeah. And I said, but doesn't everyone? And she goes, no. And I was like, but wait, when do I do it? And she goes, you're doing it right now. She was like, we're at dinner and you're saying, do you make things you're making this about yourself? And I was like, wait, but I'm so confused. I actually was because Joe said it to me before.
Yeah.
Joe said it to me before on a podcast. Ari said it to me the other day. So I was like, in my head, I was like, I wonder if they've talked about it behind my back. And I was like, I might ask my friends to tell me when I'm doing it. Because if it bothers people, I want to stop.
Oh, it bothers people, but it's but you really don't know what that means? Like, what you don't understand what they're saying?
I don't know what that means. Like, I don't understand.
What you do instinctively is go, here's what happened to me one time. So in their mind, they're telling the thing that happened to them, and you're pivoting it to something about you. So it's about.
I did that today. I just did that to you.
But I don't think this talk helped very much. And even though Tom was just trying to be honest with him, I think him telling Bert people find him annoying made Bert think Tom was attacking him, or something Tom said made Bert think that, because then after this, during an episode of Bertcast with Big J, in the beginning, Bert mentions how he interrupts too much. And Jay's like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. You're a comedian. So Bert gets all excited that somebody's finally defending him. And then he just starts going off on Tom and Ari.
And then I'll start the next one. And then I'll let you talk because I'm so bad at interrupting people.
You're fine. Can I tell you something also? Let's have a super fun podcast right now.
Yeah.
Every clip I'm watching of you on podcast now is you having some heartbreaking to yourself epiphany that you're a comedian. What you're being accused of is he goes, oh, you're listening to my story, but you're really, as soon as you hear a key word, you start thinking of your story. Like, yeah. But every podcast clip of is you going like this, Bert. You're going, I do? I do. You mean the crazier thing is you didn't realize it before. You're like, yeah, you're taking these things like, I do they? Yes, 100% all of us do.
Because I got a partner who doesn't fucking talk, and then he goes, you're always interrupting me. Then talk up, you motherfucker. Like, I'm so tired. Can I tell you, Jay, thank you so much. You know I'm talking about that in therapy? You know I'm talking about that in therapy? Stop. Is that I got to the point where I was like, hang on, Pierce, how much have I brought this up? Because I go, I don't know, man. I think and I talk. And now I'm like in conversations with people, and I'm like, should I be like not thinking, or should I just be listening and going, so how did that affect you?
You're supposed to laugh. You're supposed to big laugh and have fun and be the person you are. You're letting people bully you and then trying to change your thing.
And you're friends.
And you're being a fame.
And by the way, Ari Shaffir and Tom Segura. Ari Shaffir and Tom Segura. Ari Shaffir and Tom Segura. Those fucking, Ari fucked me up. Ari fucked me up where he goes, you make everything about yourself. And I was like, we're comics. We make everything about ourselves. You fucking asshole. Why would you stand on stage for an hour and speak and not listen to other people? You made it all by yourself. God damn it, Jay.
And I don't think Tom even complains that much about Bert. I mean, he obviously knows Bert interrupts too much and makes everything about himself, but it doesn't seem like he cares that much. So it's funny he started going off on Tom here, because I think he's just upset that Tom was explaining to him how he makes everything about himself after Bert asked him to. Like, Tom was trying to help him, but he ended up getting caught up in this. And during the most recent Two Bears, Tom called him out on it and was like, dude, why did I get shit for that? And Bert admits Tom didn't deserve it. He's like, oh yeah, you caught a stray, my bad. So it's crazy how much Ari's comment got to him, and it caused him to lash out at Tom for no reason.
That's why
he sold it really well.
Yeah.
You're a fucking asshole too. Let me tell you this: what you did.
What did I do?
You with fucking Jay Okerson. I saw a clip where he's like, everybody says that.
Oh yeah, everyone's critiquing every part of my personality.
No, and then you're like, Tom's like, fucking Ari's like, and I'm like, yo, it was right after.
You caught a stray. You caught a stray.
Thank you.
You caught a stray. That was unfair.
It was a day after you go, I'm actually find myself not interested in what people say, but I'd like to be interested. Then you're like, Tom's a fucking speak up, motherfucker. I'm like, what?
And it's funny because I don't think Ari even cares that much about Bert making everything about himself. Like, I think he only said that because he probably knew Bert was sensitive about it. You know, it's not like Ari was just getting so annoyed with Bert he had to mention it. He just said it as a joke. And him and Tom have known Bert for a long time, and I don't think they really expect him to change at this point. I mean, it's true he makes everything about himself, but everybody already knows that, except for Bert, apparently. Like, that was the craziest part. You know, I figured Bert, he knew that, but just didn't care. But I guess I gave him too much credit. You know, he has even less self-awareness than I thought. But it's funny that Ari Shaffir is the one that made him aware of this by just making a joke about it. You know, it caused Bert to rethink how he talks to people.
But I get so sensitive to the fact that like, people go, why the fuck? Why, Bert's making this all about himself. Like, Joe said that, Ari said that, Tom said that. And those are my three of my closer friends. And then I was like, and then Ari said to me, he goes, you know, I'm just busting your balls. And I was like, well, yeah, but you're fucking with my head a little bit. Like, you're making me question how to talk to you.
And then Bert starts talking about how Ari also makes everything about himself by acting like a lunatic. And it's too bad Bert didn't say this right after Ari roasted him, because I think most people would have been like, yeah, Bert's got a point. But instead, Bert was just too offended to even think of a comeback. And he's also just too nice to Ari. I mean, even before Bert makes fun of him here, he has to preface it by saying how much he likes him. You know, even after all the stuff Ari's done to him, Bert still can't just roast him without being like, but I really like this guy, I don't want to have to say this. You know, at this point, just make fun of him. I think Ari would probably respect it more.
You know, look at the whole thing about, like, Ari lighting me up about not making everything about myself, as if Ari doesn't make everything about himself. You know what, in retrospect, I wanted to say to Ari, and you know I love Ari and I've been friends with him forever. I was like, so you shitting on a pizza box or whatever to promote your special, were you making that about yourself? Why, where is the introspection?
Yeah, he made Skankfest about himself in that moment. It was all like, it's like he pushed a boundary past maybe what we were even allowed to do this thing.
Or him getting Tony fined at Madison Square Garden $100,000 where he pulled his dick out.
Did he really?
Yeah, you didn't make that about yourself. Like, but my thing is, like, I don't see the world like that. I don't see the accuse you of, like, you make everything about yourself. I just go, well, yeah, that's who I am. I'm a little bit that
I was going to say, it's that. It's what you just said right there. It's like, well, that's Ari being Ari.
Yeah. He's Ari. That's why I like him.
If you invite Ari, he might shit on something.
If you don't like me, then say that out loud.
And you'd think if Bert really knows Ari, then you would know that he was just trying to mess with him when he made that comment. But he took it so personally, and even Ari's probably surprised it turned into all this. But of course, this isn't going to stop him from screwing with Bert. And during the next episode of Bertcast, Ari showed up at the end of it and made everything about himself by peeing into a wine glass in the middle of Bert's studio.
Okay.
Does it bother you?
You know what? Because you have a very viral clip going this week.
You're trying?
I'm trying to get it going. Christine, turn around.
I had a moment.
What are you doing? No, just go into the bathroom. Don't do it in front of her. We have all women here, and it's streaming live downstairs.
It sure is streaming.
No. All right, just go downstairs. We're going to have to use that cup later. We're going to have to... Yeah, Ari. Ari, this is like me not listening. You're going to have way more than that in there.
You think so?
You're going to have way more than that in there.
It's
That's
more.
not big enough.
It's more.
So I don't think he'll ever stop doing shit to Bert. And now Bert's probably nervous that Ari might make him react to the new Crack Amico song about him. Because last year, if you remember, Ari made Bert react to Two Bears, One Grave, and it really fucked him up. Like, Ari called Bert on Legion of Skanks and told him to react to the song and then call back in and give his thoughts on it. Which, during the podcast, Bert actually handled pretty well, but he said it ruined his weekend, and I'm sure he's pissed at them for making him do this.
Hello?
Hey, Bert.
Hey. What the fuck kind of shade am I getting from this Crack Amico?
Dude, it's a hilarious rap he made about you and Tom.
Yeah, he's obviously a fan of yours.
He's a fan. He is a fan.
It was called
I promise you, he's a fan.
Wait, it was called Two Bears, One Grave. Has he not seen it? No, he hasn't seen it. Bert, so hold on, whoa.
Yeah.
1 second. Bert, we're going to send it to you right now. Watch it and then call us right back.
All right, send it to me right now.
Okay.
Go right now.
That's so good.
Oh, so glad you sent that to me.
First takes.
That guy really's done his research.
That's my point. He's a fan. He's a fan of all.
He knows more about me than my fucking wife. Holy shit. Yeah, that's, he's very talented.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't shit on his flow and everything. And he's like, you've never had to struggle. You came from a rich father. I was like, God damn it, I didn't know anyone do that.
I didn't know that.
No, my dad wasn't rich, but you know, it's like that. Obviously, I mean, I don't think Crack Amico probably knew his dad. It sounds like.
Shots fired.
I'm just saying, like.
And during this, Bert told Crack Amico if he were to bend the knee and make a positive song about him, then he'd bring him on tour. But of course, Bert is a liar, and Crack made the song, and Bert didn't have him on tour. And then he went around telling everybody that Crack is scared of him, and he got him to apologize. It's hilarious. Like, the whole Crack Amico versus Bert Kreischer beef is great.
And it fucked a weekend up for me. A weekend I was just really bothered by it. They called me on Legion of Skanks and they were like, what did you think of it? And I was like, it sucked. I was like, I wish I hadn't seen it. I wish I hadn't seen it, and I wish it was about someone else. What are you looking for? And then he did an apology video. He sent me a DM, this guy. He was like, man, I'm sorry. I'm a huge fucking fan. And it's clear when you watch this song, he knew who my dad's old clients were. Like, he knew shit that only a mega fan would know. And he said, I'm so sorry. I am a massive fan, and I got caught up in the hate to get views, and he put out a huge apology video. I've seen him in person. He's a smaller statured dude, and he's a nice guy. I just saw him at Skanks Fest recently. He was terrified of me. Like, I wanted to say hi to him, and he ran away. Oof. I know.
And if Bert thinks Crack Amico's apology was genuine, then he should have him on tour. I mean, that was the deal, but I think Bert's scared of him. There are rumors when Crack was trying to perform Two Bears, One Grave at Skankfest, Bert cut the song off and was booing Crack Amico at one point. So we have two very different stories here, but if Bert wants to prove he's an honest man, he'd bring Crack on tour, but I don't think he will. I mean, I think he has PTSD from Two Bears, One Grave. Like, when he was on Story Wars with Shane Gillis, Shane mentioned his dad being a lawyer, and Bert's all surprised that Shane knew that, and Shane's like, yeah, I've heard about it, and Bert, you tell, thinks of Two Bears, One Grave, and he's like, oh, are you kidding me? And he starts doing his high-pitched squeal noise, and he's like, you asshole, fuck you, and Shane just seems confused. He's like, what, is that a secret? Was I not supposed to say that? And it's funny, because Bert has mentioned his dad being a lawyer a bunch of times during podcasts, but for some reason, he acts like it's some secret information that only Crack Amico knew about.
My dad's a bottle cap salesman. Your dad's a lawyer. I'm not calling him, hey, Phil. Wake up.
Wait, you know what my dad does?
I've heard about it.
Would my
You
Is it a secret?
No.
I don't know.
You fucking asshole!
Is it a secret? All right, delete that. My bad. Shit, my next one's going to be bad.
All right, we got to get our votes in.
Yeah, so that Crack Amico song haunts him, and of course Ari's the one who started this by having Bert react to it. I mean, he just causes Bert so many problems. You know, he ruined Bert's weekend with that, and then making that comment about how Bert tries to make everything about himself. That like ruined the past few months for Bert. So Ari just knows how to get to him. But I'm glad he started the Crack Amico beef. And if you want to hear more about that, I covered it on Patreon when it was happening, which Crack Amico ended up getting pissed at me for, and he started trashing me at one point. So it was getting ugly. And there are over 120 other exclusive videos on there. And I recently just talked about one of the cringiest podcasts I've seen in a while. Rick Glassman went on Trash Tuesday and started roasting their podcast, and they got all offended by it and had to tell him to stop being so mean. So if you enjoy the channel... All right, so recently Jay Moore was on Tiger Belly, and he started roasting Joe Rogan's comedy career, which was hilarious because you don't see it very often, other comedians making fun of Rogan's comedy. So when it happens, it's always pretty funny, and the fans seem to think so too. Like, the top comments are talking about this. Somebody said, the fact he called out Rogan is amazing. The rest of the podcast comedy world knows he's not funny, but wouldn't dare to speak ill of him. Everyone cowers to him. Good for this dude. But the reason Jay is calling out Joe is because Joe played a part in his falling out with Bert Kreischer, who used to open for him, which led to Jay's comedy career kind of falling apart because he was labeled a joke thief, which I'll get more into. But during this episode of Tiger Belly, Jay brings up this clip from Tiger Belly from around 5 years ago when Bert Kreischer is on there, and he's talking about working for Jay. And Bobby is talking about working for Carlos Mencia because they're both in similar situations where Carlos and Jay were accused of stealing jokes, and then they were expected to defend them since they're working for him and opening for him. And then also Jay and Carlos both just don't have the best reputation. You know, it sounds like it kind of sucked opening for them. Like Bird claims one time Jay slapped him in front of a bunch of people, which Jay brings up here and denies. And I think he just randomly brings it up. So you can tell he's still definitely not over all the Joe and Bird stuff that went down, which is understandable. But it's just funny because he acted like this just happened. He's like, whenever I'm listening to your podcast, you're talking shit about me. But that clip is from over 5 years ago, and this whole situation happened over 10 years ago at this point. But I guess now he's finally ready for some vengeance. So we'll see how this goes.
When I watched this podcast, you guys are talking about how I was abusive.
When?
You and Bert were talking about how.
I do remember.
Like apparently, I slapped Bert around and abused him.
You did that. I didn't do it.
No, it was the whole conversation was about.
This was
what did I say? What did I say?
I remember old studio.
Yeah.
The first time we had Bert on,
Yeah.
I remember there was a whole thing
Like,
about
Jesus.
that. Yeah.
Sorry for trying to help my friends out.
3.8 million views.
Yeah, it's affected my career actually. You guys and Joe Rogan have affected me negatively in the following ways. The comedy.
But what I want to say though is
So what is the truth behind that? I want you to
to this day, this has nothing to do with you, but going back, I can't post a picture of my dogs without somebody saying, "Did you steal them from Bert too?"
And there's more to this I'm going to play, but Jay doesn't really explain the whole situation, so I'm going to try my best to. I'm not going to get everything because there was a lot going on, and I already made a whole video about this. But basically, Bert used to open for him, and Bert has this crazy Tracy Morgan story, which who knows if it's even true, but he told it, and Jay, he does a good Tracy Morgan impression, so they decided he should start doing it in his act, and Bert allowed him to. He said it was a good idea, and he wanted to see him do it because he felt like he was part of it or something. Because also whenever Jay would tell it, he would say it happened to his friend and not himself. But then over time, he started telling it in first person, and Bert heard him tell it on Opie and Anthony one day, and he's kind of upset about it. And then when Bert went on Rogan's podcast for the first time, he told the story, and he prefaced it by saying it's his friends, like he agreed he could do it in his act. But there are already rumors of Jay stealing jokes. So when Bert told the story for the first time, everybody's like, oh, see, he does steal jokes. And Jay got a ton of backlash for it. And he wanted Bert to defend him. And Bert claims they both agreed that Jay would stop using it. But then he heard Jay was using it in his special. So he went back on Rogan's podcast, and Rogan got him to talk about it. And Rogan defended Bert a lot, and he kept pressuring him to stick up for himself and everything. So that influenced Bert a lot. Because if it weren't for Rogan, Bert probably would have just caved and let Jay continue using it or defended him. Because Bert was like, it's complicated. I got to take half the blame for it. But Redband and Rogan just kept telling him, no, dude, he stole your story. It's obvious, and you got to stick up for yourself.
Great time today.
It's important, man. It's important for him as much as it's important for you to not let people step on you, for him to not step on people,
He knows, I think he knows everything that he did wrong in that transgression.
And you know that you were a little bit weak.
And I was weak. And so if anyone is at fault, I'm as much as fault. And I mean,
a little bit. You let him step on you.
Yeah. So
you let him abuse you.
It's completely. It is something that if I want to have a productive life as a comic,
I think that's going to do more damage to him than it's going to benefit him. He's a great storyteller. He's a funny guy.
He's a really funny, and he's a great storyteller.
Telling your story like that, it makes him seem illegitimate. It really. I mean, he's better than that. He doesn't need to do that.
He does not.
His whole act is good. He's a solid comic. He's a very funny guy. And he doesn't need to do that one bit. That one bit discredits him in a way that's unfortunate and unnecessary. And unfortunately, really, truly, it's going to define him.
Yeah, and Joe is definitely right there. I mean, as we see on this Tiger Belly podcast, he's talking about how he still gets comments about it. So this was really similar to the Carlos Mencia incident. And that's why Bobby and Bert were talking about it during that podcast that Jay mentioned, because Bert can relate to Bobby a lot. Like, he's talking about the video that Bobby made to defend Carlos, and he's like, man, I was in that same exact position, but Bert chose not to really defend Jay. I mean, he's trying to be respectful towards him during the Rogan podcast. Like, you tell he wasn't trying to throw him under the bus. But I think he realized he didn't need Jay anymore since he's friends with Rogan. He's doing his podcast and work with him. That is much easier and better for his career.
Working for somebody when you're their employee, and that's is very clear what that is.
Yeah.
There's no, for all you that don't understand, there are guys and I'll say Joe is Ari was always his friend and worked with him. Tom was his friend and worked with him. Joey was his friend and worked with him. If you work with Joe, Tony, if you work with Joe, you work with Joe.
Yeah.
You go out to eat, like, I will say this, I very candidly, Jay made it very clear to me one time that I worked for him, that I was his employee. And then there becomes this like weird fucking loyalty where you're like, I don't want to fuck up the boss's job because that's my job. Like, it's not like we're weird buddies watching you visibly shaking a cigarette and going like, he doesn't mean this. This is that Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
This is a hostage saying, they're treating me good, Mom. I remember that so vividly.
Yeah.
And I'll just say in a form of representation, I was asked to do what you did.
Yeah.
And I chose against it because of your video.
Yeah, so Bert could be exaggerating. Obviously, he's known to do that. But it just sounds like opening for Jay wasn't the best time. And same thing with Carlos Mencia. You know, it seemed like some of the comedians back in the day had the mentality that they're above their openers. And if you want to make it a comedy, you got to go through this process and pay your dues or work your way up the ranks. You know, and part of that is just putting up with their bullshit. So I'd say when it comes to that kind of thing, Rogan, that's a big positive influence he's had on comedy, because now I don't think that really exists as much. And, you know, the stories about him, like he's always treated his openers really well. Like Ari Shaffir was just talking about it on Tucker Carlson, how Rogan used to just always hand out money to everybody. And when he'd go on the road with him, Rogan would pay for all the dinner and the hotels and everything and paid him more than everybody else was. So Rogan's always been really generous, and, you know, he wants to see his openers and his friends succeed. Like, he's not trying to keep them down at all. So when Bert became friends with him and started doing his podcast, it's like he was finally free. But it's just unfortunate. He kind of destroyed Jay Moore's career in the process.
Like, literally, that has affected my career to the tune of millions of dollars when Rogan and Bert had that thing on, and Rogan being the comedy end-all, be-all.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
That he's the arbiter of funny.
But can I just...
Considering all the times Joe Rogan has made us all laugh.
I understand. It's so funny that you say that, because it's like now, like, you know, I have a sense of, like, you know,
Clock's ticking, Black Ops.
I mean,
Close this shit down.
I'm trying to sell out bars in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah.
And other guys are doing like arenas.
And I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. I've never. Sometimes I have seen it, but I've seen your transformation, right, has been just so obvious to me, and it is so clear that I'm like, oh, this guy, the path that you're about to lead now is gonna be fucking incredible.
Fuck yeah.
I really believe that.
Right on.
Yeah. You've changed so much. You're so fucking talented.
Yeah, so you can tell it's tough for him to see Bert Kreischer selling out arenas while he can barely even sell out a small comedy club. You know, it's got to be tough to handle. Like, also during the podcast, at one point, Bobby was talking about how he was on tour with Bert, and, you know, he fell and split his lip open. And he said Dave Attell was the only person to reach out to him after that and see how he's doing. And Jay's like, who else was on that tour? And Bobby starts listing everybody, and Jay's like, what do they all have in common? You know, they're all Rogan comedians. And Bobby's like, oh, I get it. And then Jay starts complaining about how he can't sell any tickets.
Out of all the comics, you know what I mean, that was on that tour, he was the only one to call Dave Attell and go, how are you? Yeah, he's a good dude. And I forever, you know what I mean? I would die for that guy. I would
Who
die
else
for
was on that tour?
Sam Morril, love him. Dan Soder, no? Nothing?
No.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer.
What do all those guys have in common? Where do they come from?
What do you? No, this is fun. This is great. I love this game. They come from America.
The guy not in that crew is the guy to reach out and actually ask how you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Whoa, you're blowing my mind.
I've had nothing but time to think about all of it. As I sit around wondering why my late show and first show have been combined and it's still not sold out. One day I'll get on a mic and vengeance will be... No.
And then also at the end of the podcast, he's supposed to be plugging his comedy dates. And he's basically like, oh, we don't need to do that. I didn't sell enough tickets. I told him to cancel it. So now I'm off the whole summer.
See, no. I got a call from Springfield. They said, hey, they only got 40 tickets sold the whole weekend. Would you mind canceling? I said, not at all. So I'm off for the summer. You don't have to do any of that.
Okay.
But that is my Instagram's jmore37.
Yeah. That's Jay, that's criminal.
It's all on my fifth step.
Yeah. It's fucking criminal, dude. No. We're gonna I know what I'm gonna do. And give Jay another round of applause.
Yeah, so it seems like Bobby really wants to help him get his career back on track, which I think he could do it. You know, I think he could probably revive it because it's been a while, you know, over 10 years since everything happened. And even when everything went down, I think he took some blame for it. Like, he admitted he screwed up. And, you know, the whole situation, it's not like a clear case of him stealing a joke. You know, it's pretty complicated, which Bert even admits, you know, he takes some blame for it. Also, Jay, I'm sure he's changed a lot as well. Like he said, he used to have a drug problem and now he's clean. So I'm sure his behavior has changed quite a bit. Also, I doubt Rogan even really cares that much about this anymore. And it'd be interesting to see them do a podcast together, or him and Bert. So we'll see if he can get his career back on track. But either way, luckily for him, money's not a problem. He doesn't need to worry about that because he's married to the owner of the Lakers, Jeannie Buss, who's worth like $1 billion. So fortunately, that's not something he's struggling with. But obviously, it's nice to have a career of your own and be making your own money. So that's about it here, but make sure you guys go check out my Patreon account. I just posted a new video about the most recent Kill Tony episode, and I've been talking a lot about that show because there's a lot going on, and Tony's ego keeps getting bigger. He was recently just caught bragging about this new Netflix deal he made that he claims is the biggest thing since Rogan's Spotify deal. So if you want to hear about that, or the time Tim Dillon humbled Whitney Cummings, or the degeneracy of Ari Shaffir, or the craziest Jerry episodes,
Enemy napalm strike incoming.
New Studio Ghibli drop? No, I don't. I think it's disgusting. The AI Studio Ghibli shit is nasty. Is so nasty. And just because like you like the aesthetic of something doesn't change my attitude towards the nastiness that is like AI. I will continue despising it, and I think it's totally awful. It's soulless, and it is also additionally it's extra fucked up because we know the OG's opinion on AI. Miyazaki hates AI. He thinks it's an affront to God. It is everything that he despises about capitalism. It is everything that he despises about technological innovation, robbing the soul of people's work. And he's 100% right on it. So the very fact that like all these people, maybe I'm the friend who's too woke, okay, on this shit, but I can't stand it, dude. I cannot stand whenever there's like a new AI thing that comes out, like a new AI tool that comes out and people like it and they just start blasting it all over the timeline. I'm like, ugh, it's just not for me. You can have your fun if you want to, but I hate it. I genuinely hate it. I can't stand it. It's not even on the aspect of caring about this from a labor rights or like IP rights perspective. I think AI is fine for a tool, but and the content theft that AI operates off of and how it turns into how it spits out this like soulless regurgitated garbanzo in the process. All this stuff is whatever. I think my distaste for it stems entirely from how soulless it is and how it's just not real art, you know? Most people don't really care. All my friends from university use AI on the daily. It's very popular among normies. No, I know most people don't care. I can still hate something even if other people like it, even if everyone likes it. This is one of those things. I hate it. And the reason for why I hate it is because it's soulless. And when I see so many people genuinely appreciate it and like use it on a regular basis, it makes me feel like we are devolving. And that's it. That's what it is. That's unironically like my major takeaway. It's not even on the labor front. Like it's not even on the labor law or stealing other people's artwork and all of the years of brush strokes that they've put into making the best art possible. possible. Like, all that stuff is awful, but I think we are unironically destroying the last aspect of what makes us human while simultaneously killing the planet for it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I think Stavros put it best when he said, why the f are robots doing art and humans are packing up, you know, working at the distribution facilities? Like, it should be the other way around. The robot should be doing that and we should be doing art. That's the whole point, right? This isn't to say that there are no use cases for AI. This isn't to say that like AI is bad across the board. AI is simply a tool, and how you use that tool matters. I just am stating that, especially when it comes to art, like I don't know, I find it soulless. I find it awful. It's also always funny whenever haters will try to be like, Hassan, you're using AI art, or that's the secondary aspect of it that's really annoying. Whenever I like listen to someone do a text to speech and it's not AI, but everyone now then goes, oh, is this AI? Why are you listening to AI? It's like, no, it's not. There are, like I said, use cases for it. Like a text-to-speech situation makes sense. Like that is literally what it's for. That's what AI is supposed to be for. It's very useful, Hassan. You don't know yet? No, I'm not saying it's not useful. You're completely misunderstanding me, dude. You are completely misunderstanding me. I never said AI is never useful at all. I think that there are, like, real-time translations. That's a perfect use case, okay? Real-time translations from one language to the next is great. Being misunderstood is a full-time job for you now? I know. Anyway, I think that this is the one aspect of it. Generative AI, when utilized like in Photoshop as artists use it as a tool, perfectly valid. That's what it is. That's what people use it for, and it's great. Generative AI churning out like absolute dog water at a rapid clip while burning the planet sucks. Yeah, there's that famous spot where like someone talks about artificial intelligence and Miyazaki. Yeah, here's Nobuo Kawakami, chairman of Dwango, Japanese telecommunications and media company, explaining artificial intelligence model which learns certain movements. This is like many, many years ago. And Miyazaki basically sits him down and says, like, I will kill you. Like, I will kill you with weapons. I will torture you if you ever show me an affront to God like this ever again. Here.
これ踊ってるように見えますけど、でこれは早く移動するっていうので学習させたやつなんですね。これ頭を使って移動してるんですけど、基本痛覚とかないし、頭が大事とかっていう概念がないし、だからもう頭をもう普通の足のように使って移動してるっていう。この動きがとにかく気持ち悪いので、ゾンビゲームの動きに使えるんじゃないかっていう。こういう人工知能を使うと、多分人間が想像できない気持ち悪い動きができるんじゃないか。こんなことをやっています。実際には
毎朝この頃会わないけど身体障害の友人がいるんですよ。そのハイタッチって言うんだけど大変なんです。
He says he has a friend who has a disability. It's so hard for him just to do a high five. His arm was stiff muscle reaching out to my hand. Now thinking of him, I can't watch this stuff and find interesting. Whoever creates this stuff has no idea what pain is or whatsoever. I am utterly disgusted. If you really want to make creepy stuff, you can go ahead and do it. I would never wish to incorporate this technology into my work at all. I strongly feel that this is an insult to life itself. This is dude, it's one of the, Miyazaki's always been the cuntiest, okay? He is famously an asshole. Everybody knows this, which is unique in a Japanese setting because although he is the most senior in the room and in most rooms that he's in, there's still a level of like professionalism that you're supposed to demonstrate in situations like this. He does not hold back at all. Like, we're talking about a culture that, you know, finds a million different words to not say no directly. This is like extra crazy. We don't mean to do anything by showing it to the world. Yeah, I understand. Studio Ghibli producer Suzuki says, so what is your goal? 。 。  。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。
。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。 。
「」
「 。
「
」
」
「 」 「 」 「 」 「
Well, we would like to build a machine that can draw pictures like humans do. Would you? Yes. He's out. This is the most out he's ever been. He said, I feel like we're nearing the end of times. I love this video. I've played it so many times on this broadcast. The reason why I brought it up, for those of you who don't understand why I'm showing times on the most out he's ever been. He said, I feel like we're nearing. He's out. This is the most out he's ever been. He said, I feel like we're nearing the end of times. I love this video. I've played it so many times on this broadcast. The reason why I brought it up, for those of you who don't understand why I'm showing this, we humans are losing faith in ourselves. The reason why I showed you this is because the latest like generative AI tool that came out was directly ripping his art style, and it's all over my goddamn timeline. Like, if there's an artist that many years ago actively said this is the worst thing that you can ever make, I hate you for making this, now I am doubting the entirety of humanity, it's Miyazaki. So it's crazy that they took his art style. There's no stopping this. I'm not foolish. I understand that there is no way to stop this at all. It's over. Normies love this shit. They're like, oh, cute photo. I still despise it. That's all I'm saying. You can get mad at me if you want for that take. I understand that there will never be regulations on this, and perhaps maybe there shouldn't be regulations on this anyway. It's a tool at the end of the day. I'm just saying I fucking hate it. I hate it. It quite literally robs art of the one component. It robs art of the humanity. That's why that's what art is. It's supposed to be made by a human. I feel like I'm going crazy when I explain this basic concept. And people are just like, nah, dude, you don't understand. Like, it's supposed to be made by a living, breathing organism with experiences. It's about like all of the things that you've done leading up to that moment, every brush stroke, every time you picked up a goddamn pencil, the times when you were bullied, the times when you were ridiculed, the times when you struggled, when you had adversity, like all of that is supposed to be reflected in what you're doing. And that is supposed to invoke emotion out of the person who was looking at it. And now it's just like, nope, it's slop. A machine made this. Maybe again, like I said, maybe I'm the friend that's too woke. Maybe I'm being a little lame about it, but I find it dire. I find it horrifying that people are entertained by it. Like it's a real devolution. We are devolving. We are decaying. Our humanity is being robbed of us. It's being robbed from us. I don't get it, and it freaks me out. It freaks me out big time. I find it strange. I find it odd. I find it nasty. All right? You're being too woke. Okay. You're wrong. That's all I'm going to say. You are wrong. Movies, motion pictures have remained like the highest form of art at this stage. And it's like the one aspect that's also being shredded with AI garbage as well. The reason why a movie is worthwhile, even though we make a lot of slop now as well, the reason why movies that are timeless classics are important and good is because like every aspect of a movie, every shot, the lighting, everything is intentional. There is humanity in every part of it. So turning around and making everything computer, in Trump's terms, is robbing movies of its soul as well. I think, wow, everything's computer is not great. You know, wow, everything's computer.
Everything's computer.
The intentionality of the work is supposed to be meaningful. Every aspect of a work of art is supposed to be poured over. It's designed in a way where you're supposed to think like, what did this person want to say here? What is the reason why the set was dressed in the way that it was? Like all of this stuff. Hassan, don't pay attention to them. I studied fine art in college. I have a degree in this. You are so correct. 10,000%. Yeah, the problem is they will look to you and say, oh, you're just a woke loser who wants to protect their job and get f***ed. Like that's the issue. The issue is like people have no appreciation for art, and it's also another aspect of like education being gutted and destroyed, where people just have no appreciation for it whatsoever, and therefore younger generations are not going to have any sort of resistance towards this sort of thing, and in the process it's just going to be worse and worse. Zylax, thank you for the 100 gifted subs. I am not in an industry that is susceptible or in a position that is like susceptible to the pressures of AI. I could use AI to my benefit. I could use it every day. Why is it okay to take away a translator's job but not an artist's job? Where do I begin? Translation in real time is a direct service. Art is not the same. Art is art. Having said that, I've never advocated for translators to be fired in the process. Keep the translators hired, but also allow the AI tool to work in their stead. Do you not understand? I always say, I don't have an issue with AI. Let's say self-driving is established. There should still be a truck driver that is sitting behind that wheel, whether it be to, take over in times of necessity or simply for that person to still make a living. That's my argument. My argument is that these tools are simply tools. They should not be used as a way to replace existing labor, but instead should be used as tools. When it comes to art, though, that's the reason why I talk about my understanding of AI as being a tool that is very valuable. You're choosing to fight on hopeless ground. This is no different than artisans, spoon makers opposing automation. You can advocate for how legislation should manage this change, but trying to prevent it is idiotically naive. Wait, there's never been a moment in this process where I have said any of those things. As a matter of fact, I said the exact opposite. Every time I talk about an issue, maybe I'm just bad as a communicator. I'm beginning to recognize that I'm just not a very good communicator, I think, because I said exactly those things that you just brought up.
Everything's computer.
Losing Bravo.
If you have something to say, you best say it.
Enemy spotted. Bravo underway.
YouTube's reigning good old boy David Dobrik is back to take his place in the kingdom amidst a controversial lawsuit by posting the first videos to his YouTube channel after several months of inactivity. And this is the most I hope to ever personally relate to David Dobrik, as this is also the first clip breakdown that I posted to YouTube in a social media break that became an unplanned 6-month hiatus. But now we're back, me, David, and the entire vlog squad, like a big family who I'm sort of afraid is going to gay bash me. This must be how it feels to have Republican siblings. Even spookier, my motivations for returning to YouTube are exactly the same as David's. My sense of duty to this audience and my love of the craft, and more urgently, financial reasons. Did you know that if you don't pay your annual taxes, they just like roll over to the next year? It's like the US government didn't even acknowledge my New Year's Eve whisper chant for manifesting a fresh start. You're not gonna get my money, Uncle Sam. You'll never get my money. By the way, if anyone watching this has a mom or a dad working for the IRS, can you tell them to stop sending letters to my house? I'm simply never going to read them. But I will be reading these, the unmoisturized basketball shorts wearing bags of boy privilege that make up David Dobrik's vlog squad in a video that shows them on an epic journey traveling to all of the wonders of the world in a tenuously connected marketing strategy for the paid fitness app that David has invested in, along with his current best friend. After all of the previous holders of that title have nearly died or committed heinous crimes within the toxic environment fostered by the production of David's YouTube videos. But even after a year of inactivity, it's clear the YouTube algorithm still loves it. I just hope the platform shows me the same love on this video, or my next upload will be a get ready with me for white collar prison. I hear the trending vibe is neutral sweatsuits and bland nutrients that meet the legal definition of food served on extra thick trays. Sounds fierce. That basically describes me going to lunch at Panera Bread, complete with a secretive same-sex hookup in a bathroom stall. I'm never paying my taxes again. So join me on David Dobrik's globe-trotting, body-shaming, tax-evading adventure in this legally disclaimed as satire installment of Clip Breakdown. Hello, television viewers, my name is Nick. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel for another installment of Clip Breakdown. This is the playlist where we dive into our favorite movies, TV movies, and other such content here on the web, and we break it down like David Dobrik breaking into a new commercial category. He sells pizza, he has a fitness app, he operates heavy machinery without the proper safety licensing, and he's here to smash your face. I'm not trying to make light of the horrible accident caused at David's hand to Jeff Wittick, which we'll get into, but first, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you want to see even more clip breakdowns updating you on influencer drama like this. But most importantly, if you're new to my channel, I would love to have you click that subscribe button right over here. Oh, a new neon subscribe sign. You felt it in your soul. You felt it in your pubic mound. Click the notification bell icon. That way you'll always be the first to know when I'm swinging into your life without the proper licensing. I'm all about licensing lately. It's been a very legal heavy half of a year. Hey, here's another thought. I'm a blonde bombshell now. I don't know if you noticed, but yes, just like the iconic screen star of the 1950s, Mary Lou Boudreau. I went to film school. Yes, clearly I've had a moment of transformation visibly and also in ways that you can't see, such as my nipple piercings. But it's also been a transformative year in terms of making sure that I'm attending to my mental health. And that's all I'll say about why I've been gone and what I've been up to for now. Let me know if you want to hear more. I'll post a video to my Patreon about it, so check that out if you want to join virtual watch parties and things of that nature. But hey, let's stick to the free f***ing shit for now because we got to talk about David Dobrik. David Dobrik, the most boring person that you ever watched when you were a teenager. I've never seen the appeal of David Dobrik. I think I've made that clear. I find the content try hard and overly authentic to a point where it's like you're trying too hard to seem authentic that it makes me feel like you're inauthentic. And nothing could be more confirming of that fact than the fact that he's the fact. Why do I say the fact so often? I'm just a journalist. This is independent journalism. The point is, David Dobrik hurt his friend really bad in a video that was all his design, his stunt, swinging people from an excavator, and he's refusing to pay for that person's surgeries, which he can't because that would be acknowledging that he did something wrong, and there's like a workers' comp situation that State Farm is suing him. There's a lot that goes into it, and it definitely sucks to see like a legal battle take place and like disrupt a friend group, but then you're like, well, how much were they really friends if he was treating him like an employee? All that is to say, it made sense when David Dobrik kind of stepped back from YouTube. He was making most of his money through his Dobrik's Pizza Store, which is on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood, which I can almost understand since I'm also a YouTube creator who's been off the platform for months due to personal reasons. I have no problem letting you know that this hiatus has eaten into my savings a little bit, and that makes it more important than ever to rebuild and also just be mindful of my money and my expenditure all throughout my life. If you have a similar goal of increasing your savings account, then over all the time when I was walking home from my intensive outpatient treatment, and I loved that Starbucks, but it was in a shitty location. Like you had to cross a busy street and it was loud. So I'm not surprised that this door is not exactly like the toast of the town in Hollywood right now, but that's okay because David has lots of other money-making ventures like Snapchat, where he gets paid handsomely for his stories that exploit the hot girls on his feed, and now a new business. What is it called? This like fitness app that he's invested in with his best friend Ilya, who is like a fitness guy. You can tell because of the way he wears fitted polos, and this whole video is basically a big commercial for that. So it's very fitting that, of course, David would come back to YouTube not in an effort to be entertaining and connect with its audience, but to promote a money-making scheme that was going to further enrich him at the lowest level of effort possible, but also at the expense of the self-esteem of many of his viewers. So let's take a look and see how that is.
What's up, dude?
Okay.
What's up, vlog?
My best friend and I made a deal. David, no. A springtime suicide pact? That is so outdated. This is why we can't let idiots read their first Shakespearean play outside of a classroom setting. Self-deletion is never the answer. And besides, David has a young, impressionable audience, and this might encourage them to place bets on when and how it might take place. And now we're bringing underage gambling into the mix. Problematic. There has got to be a better way to seem interesting. And no, I don't mean adding a second pretty girl prop into the background of every scene. There's barely enough room for one of them in that back seat. You got her straddling that center console, trying her best not to sit on her hot pink Stanley Cup. You gotta work your way up to that kind of girth. I know. Oh, wait. The next title card says, the deal that I would stop being a fat ass. Oh, sweetie, I think you meant dumb ass. But I do agree that you are some kind of who needs to be stopped. I fear that David Dobrik has cultivated an online persona that has quickly started to lose its appeal over time. Sure, a person can be considered sweet and adorable at any age, but when it comes to an influencer who is obviously trying to look cute, that window of opportunity begins rapidly closing as the individual enters the later half of their 20s. Like, you're almost 30, Dobrik. Stop sticking your tongue out at me. You look awkward, like a toddler when you're singing happy birthday to them. He's like, girl, I can see your fucking uvula. I'm sick of it. Throughout the beginning of this, David is going to sell the audience on how he's become overweight because he loves eating fast food and he doesn't work out and he hates the shape of his body. Fair enough. It's okay to not be totally happy with the body you're in and want to work to improve it or to become healthier. I don't really see an issue with that, and I don't see an issue with fitness products that come from like a healthy mindset and help people feel inspired to get healthy or become stronger or find, you know, a new fit body. I think there can be a lot of self-confidence that comes from that, but the problem is I don't look at David Dobrik in this video and think like, that's a fat ass, and I don't think most people would. It's kind of just like insulting to anyone who watches this who might be in a heavier body than he is. It's not healthy to call yourself a fat ass or to talk down about yourself. Like, you should love your body no matter what, because it's keeping you alive. It's the shell that your stupid soul is living in, David. And using the fact that he's not happy with his physical fitness level in such a derogatory way to sell his fitness app, I think is just a really manipulative way to speak to the many Americans who might be watching this, a lot of them young people who are obese or overweight in a different level than he might be, because he is generally, like, you wouldn't look at David Dobrik and think like, oh, I'm gonna have a bias against him because he's fat. He has a lot of the privileges that a skinny person would have, but he's talking about himself like it's like, oh, this, like, I'm so obese. They even kind of like do his body scan and they're like, you technically count as obese. It's like, in what world, David Dobrik? This is not obesity. I mean, he doesn't have a muscly pecs and a fucking six-pack washboard abs like he does later in this video, but that doesn't make him obese, and it doesn't make anybody less of a person. So I don't appreciate the way that he talks about his physical fitness in this. It's kind of an ugly thing altogether, but he goes in to talk to Ilya, his best friend, who I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've never heard of this guy before, and I've done several David Dobrik videos, like just another some guy with a slight accent that he's hanging out with, but he's the guy that he's gone in on this fitness app with. David's a major investor. The app is meant to like scan your body. You get a fitness plan. It's gonna get you in shape is what they claim. But David goes in and he's like, I'm gonna get fit using your app. It's like, wow, that's so selfless of you, even though it's also your app that you will use to make a commercial for. If you come with me on a trip, and he's like, one trip? Okay, sure, like definitely. And that's when he reveals like, okay, well the trip is gonna be, we're going to all of the major wonders of the world, and you're coming on a month-long trip around the world with me. It's like, oh darn, ouch, that's hard. A free vacation and then money on top of it? Oh, really twisting my arm here. But first, we have to really establish how out of shape David Dobrik is because he eats cheeseburgers. Ugh. The way they villainize food in this is like, I already hate this app. It's not hitting me where I need to be when it comes to my physical fitness or my relationship with food. I don't know about all of you, but no, it's a no from me. Mate, it's a no.
This is my before body. Oh my god! It's worse than I thought.
Please put your shirt back on.
Check this out.
Oh no.
You spit out ever? Of course, watch.
Stop. Ew! The slapping, the spitting, the Beavis laughter, the butthead chuckling. I forgot how watching these vlogs makes me feel emotionally uncared for. Like I'm in elementary school again, sitting near the rowdy 6th grade boys at the back of the school bus. I keep thinking someone in zip-off cargo shorts is going to snap my bra strap against my back, and I'm going to have to fight back tears while pretending to think it was funny. Wow. So it seems like I didn't just hate my own childhood, but just like childhood as a concept. Go to hell, children. Your whole life is disgusting to me. I can't imagine that this woman, David's assistant named Natalie or whoever, is actually happy wasting her time being the token hot girl helper to Mr. Giggles and his merry gang of chuckle fucks. But we can help. Everyone comment below with hashtag free Natalie or whoever to show your support for all of the pick-me personal assistants who follow around YouTube bros dressed like the assistant librarian from the high school on Euphoria. We stand with you, and we will make sure that our children and our children's children forever remember your name, Natalie or whoever. Come on, this girl does not seem prepared to help David defend himself against the negligence and willful harm lawsuits that he's up against. She doesn't even seem prepared to stay warm in the case of a fire drill. She's dressed like a swimsuit model who got caught in the tuna net of a fishing boat. And I am not judging the kind of clothes she's wearing. I think she looks hot, and I love that for her. Which is why we can't let her go to trial. I mean, do they even have a sensible courtroom attire category on nastygal.com? I'm asking for a friend who might be going to tax jail this year and wants to make sure every member of the jury sees all this. this. In case you missed the news, there's a former member of David's vlog squad named Jeff Wittick who is suing David for $10 million after he participated in a stunt where David swung him from an excavator that was in the middle of a lake using a remote control. And while granted, there may have only been a 1% chance where that idea was going anywhere but horribly wrong, it was still something David had set up for his video after paying Jeff Wittick to be there and participate in the video. So it seems unfair for David to completely avoid any of the medical expenses that his former best friend is racking up, getting several surgeries to his face and his eyes to heal from this horrible accident that he almost died from. Oh, and Natalie, or whoever, allegedly forged Jeff's signature on a false victim statement where Jeff allegedly claimed responsibility for the entire accident. Nice try from Team Dobrik over there. What did the letter say? Dear Judge, please understand that I begged the vlog squad to pulverize my face bones with construction equipment and watch as I almost drown, for it would make a more hilarious YouTube video for Daddy David, the absolved one, aka the benevolent prince of zero wrongdoing and excellent sport. Did you know he almost met Tony Hawk at an airport once? It's true. If anything, it is I, with my weak, brittle face bones, who shall go to prison in place of David the innocent. Good tidings to you, Judge. Love always, Jeffrey, the writer of this letter. Love always, Jeffrey. The fact of the matter is, David can't afford to get stuck in the weeds, apologizing to some former best friend whose life was destroyed at his hands. He would be down there all day. Have you seen those weeds? They're full of the corpses of former best friends. And besides, that wouldn't be fair to Ilya, his current best friend. Oh, I should be clear that in this case, friend is an acronym that David uses, meaning financial relationship intended to exploit non-employee dynamics. It's a mutually beneficial agreement between David and those in his vlog squad, where David gets to make millions of dollars off of their name and likeness while putting their health and safety at risk without providing any health insurance or other benefits, and they get like a $1,000 fee. Plus, by association, they earn enough followers to get a brand deal with MeUndies.com, along with a contentious legal battle if they happen to survive their appearance in a video for one of David's annual summer catastrophes. It's called Quid Pro Quo. Have you ever heard of it? Do you know business? Do you do business? Did you go to business school? Have you ever been to a business luncheon? Eating tuna salad or salmon perhaps? Are you into fish? Do you eat fish? Are your omega-3s okay? That's what I want to know. If you could answer those 17 questions, we could have a conversation about business. Let's move on then, because it's been 1 minute of the video. Oh, we've got a lot to break down over here, haven't we, sisters? So David and him and all of the vlog squad, it's not that special for Ilya because we're literally bringing everyone, but they all go on a trip to all of the world wonders. They go to Egypt, they go to India, they go to Rio de Janeiro, and a lot of it is the worst thing I've ever seen. There's a lot of David's thing where he laughs so I think that was part of his charm in his YouTube heyday, but now it just rings inauthentic. He's like It's like, girl, nothing in your life has ever been that funny. Your mere existence subtracts all of the humor that could possibly exist in the universe, and it makes it not that funny. But whatever, let's have some groping from a bunch of men to a bunch of women. That's gonna be really good for your reputation there, buddy.
We had a big night ahead of us, so I visited one of the best tailors on earth. He's made suits for everyone from Obama to James Bond himself. I won't lie, I really don't remember him being this touchy. Billy and I just assumed it was a cultural thing.
Let me undress this twisty white boy. A little bit harder. Just a little bit harder.
Now, I was going to thank this gentleman for finally punishing David Dobrik in some capacity, but then I realized how much David seems to be enjoying it, and it no longer counts. Look at that hand gesture. He's having a aha moment. He said, "Oh, holy GoPro. I think I just discovered my brand new pastime. Move over, pickleball. Vlog Squad boys, line up according to palm size. It's going to be a long night." And no, I'm not kink shaming any of you out there watching this. If you love consensual spanking, then I love knowing that you love consensual spanking. I'm just remarking on how David Dobrik is one of the most bland, uninteresting personalities on the internet. So watching him eat, pray, love his way through his first plate of chicken tikka masala with the white guy improv troupe from hell is not my idea of intriguing content. Has David Dobrik ever made a vlog that shows anything other than grown men breathing exclusively through their mouths and casually assaulting one another? Maybe let's diversify, since it seems like only one of you has health insurance, and you're not allowed to share that amongst yourselves like the communal teaspoon of brain brain cells that float freely around your skull's full of fluid, they get into a debaucherous sort of, ooh, I don't know the word, montage showing all of their adventures in Rio de Janeiro. Like, we see some of them making out with girls. They all look really pale in this direct light. But hey, have fun, 20-somethings. You're gonna die soon enough. Not like sooner than any, it's like a natural death. Don't come for me with threats. I'll threaten whoever I f***ing want. I'm just kidding. May they all be blessed. Anyway, David Dobrik continues to show a severe lack of good judgment when it comes to the production techniques behind his videos. Like, can we not advance beyond these same old tricks? We're awaiting trial for allegedly causing bodily harm to somebody using heavy machinery in a body of water for one of my stupid YouTube videos. I would probably take that as a strong indicator that for my next video, I should do something else, find something different. Then again, David seems to know that gifting his dear friends with near death drives engagement. And to be fair, I have no idea what it's like to live with the pressure of needing at least 1 million people to see my ad for SeatGeek, because that's what determines whether they pay me 10 or 20 times more than the annual salary of an average US soldier. I would probably drive a sedan on top of my friend in a swimming pool too, because I want the 20. I want the 20 US soldier salary. Blech. Using that baby voice only made my sentence sound more disgusting. Just like always. Just like always. See, never good. It's never good. They do a bunch of other stuff. It's like, this feels like David's like sort of self-indulgent way of getting out the travel series that he had with Nat Geo, which we've covered previously on this channel. That was canceled after one episode because it was right around the time this controversy happened. So it's like he's doing this travel series again, but his way, which makes it even funnier, even more homophobic. They go to the house where The Conjuring took place. It's like, great, you went to a Verbo location in Connecticut. I don't give a
You know, obviously I'm always on the lookout for like true love, and I just thought like coming here would like open me up to something.
Well, I don't think there's any gay ghosts here, so.
Oh, I know for a fact there aren't any gay ghosts there, because every entity with good taste would have exorcised themselves from the premises as soon as they saw this group of heterosexual hellspawn roll up carrying a trash bag full of Amazon ghost hunting gear. Even if I had been happily haunting in this realm for centuries and I was like, my soul can't move on to a better place, the second I saw an Airbnb booking come through for roughly one ESPN Zone bar and grill's worth of sexually frustrated 28-year-olds along with their 50-year-old dad friend telling tired gay jokes, my homosexual spirit would have been sitting with all of my suitcases at that bus stop from Halloween Town being like, anywhere but here is a better place, I'll meet you on Fire Island. And of course we have to show a little bit about how David Dobrik gets into shape. He works out and he eats less junk food. It's really revolutionary, and I can't wait to pay $29.99 a month on the App Store or the Android App Store to figure out that pearl drop of wisdom. Good work, Ilya and friends. But at the end of the video, David Dobrik has finally done it. He's lost weight against all odds, all 5 pounds that he wanted to lose. And it's like we're supposed to give him a Nobel Peace Prize. And he tells the whole world, he's like, I don't no longer have a shapeless boy body. It's a boy body with a little bit of shape. It's like, great, now people want to you for reasons other than your money, I'm sure. It's really pronounced.
Introducing to you the new and improved my best friend, David Dobrik.
She's right, it does look like Photoshop. Specifically, like someone photoshopped a withered corpse from The Ring into a montage of a bunch of unseasoned influencers. Take another look and tell me you don't see what I see. Who is forcing him to stand like he's the still photo in a Bowflex commercial? David, please, you need to breathe. I'm unsettled by how the sinewy dark torso and the gaping Dementor mouth is juxtaposed against those youthful happy faces of adventurous wealthy people. Why does David's fitness transformation reveal have all of the same qualities as those pictures of tourists from the 1920s posing with the ancient Egyptian mummies that they dug out of a desecrated pharaoh's tomb? Like, I'm pretty sure future historians will look back at these and cringe at the ignorance of these people. And at the very least, they've captured the exact moment that an age-old curse was released upon humanity, ushering in 1,000 years of famine, flood, and strife. Thanks a lot, David's fitness app, whose name I can't remember despite this whole video being one long commercial for it. Great marketing strategy, by the way. David goes on to show all of the people his face, and then he also gifts all of the employees of Dobrik's Pizza Shop a Tesla, and it's like literally one of those could have paid for all of Jeff Wittick's medical bills. The only reason they haven't is because that would be admitting fault in this legal legal case, which would then unleash a barrage of other liabilities for David Dobrik from State Farm Insurance, who is telling David he had no right to file a workers' comp claim since these were not literal employees. Like, David's argument against Jeff Wittick is like, he wasn't an employee, he's just a friend, and his payment was like that he got famous on social media in exchange for appearing in my videos. But then he filed a workers' comp complaint with State Farm being like, he was an employee and I need his money to pay for all my legal fees. It's like, which is it? Which is it, you dumb bitch? Anyway, we see Mr. Beast, we see Olivia Jade. Any fucking YouTuber you don't want to know makes an appearance in this video. It's like, wow, we're really sticking together in all of this, aren't we? It's like all of the women and children on the Titanic. I don't know actually where it's going with that. Let me stop. Let's just watch this clip where they surprise Ilya, Mr. Beast and David surprise Ilya with a new car while also plugging Mr. Beast's chocolate bar brand. It's dumb.
If he didn't get jacked, he would have to buy 20,000 Diesel bars. Are you serious? So what would happen if you didn't get jacked? If I did get jacked? Yeah. Jimmy would have to get you a car. And wait, David, lift up your shirt.
Okay, I'm sorry, but at this point, all of these gentlemen just need to have a little bit of gay sex with each other and get it over with so we can drop the pretense of all of this rich boy bromance. They're like, we made a bet that if by Labor Day we decided that David is not a sexy stud, then he cannot kiss both of us tenderly in a communal shower setting at a gym. And well, David, take out your now, let us see. Ah, see, we lose. David is a sexy stud. Now we all get fucked at the gym. Oh, like what the are you all, like, can we all stop with the shirt lifting? It's weird. Body checking is not healthy. And homoerotic subtext aside, I have a serious question. Has David Dobrik always dressed in such rectangular toddler clothing? He looks like he's wearing painter's overalls in a Disney cartoon. I know he's like slightly more Gen Z and the fashion is different, so I don't know. You have to let me know. Maybe it's stylish all of a sudden to be dressed like he's one of Little Bill's two-dimensional white friends. One thing that you won't miss though in this video is a barrel of laughs. People making terrible jokes and everyone laughing at them like it's super bad on crack. Why is Toothy Boy so joyous? I can guarantee that nothing occurs in this video that warrants that level of feral howling from David and his murder of D-bags. I know that murder is the terminology for like a flock of crows, but I think it makes more sense referring to any group of straight men because of how frequently they strangle to death, you know? Point being, I highly doubt that David actually thinks everything his friends say are as funny as the next Borat. He's just trying to sell it to his audience of preteen girls who are longing for an older stepbrother type figure who sexually confuses them. Trust me, I did not laugh once during this video, and I am an arguably normal person with a standard sense of humor. I don't know why everyone tries to argue that with me. Sometimes funerals are funny. The word bequeath sounds like queef. Anyway, be sure to follow me for more hilarious observations and wordplay for the hottest drama and celebrity news on TikTok. Oh no, I just had a break from reality, forgot what I was doing. It's been a minute since I've recorded one of these, so for real though, good luck to David and his fitness brand. If you hate your body and you hate yourself, make sure to download that from the App Store today. You know, it feels so good to be getting back on camera here and making fun of people who are just trying to do their job. It feels like I'm just trying to do my job, and that's helpful in a capitalist hellscape. So thank you all so much for joining me. I'm so grateful to be back. I promise I'm going to be regular with my uploads from now on. I've got my next 2 videos already planned out. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel. Don't forget to check out my merch. I've got a Patreon where you can access exclusive bonus content and virtual watch parties. You guys are all the greatest. Thank you so much for joining me once again on my channel. I will come back and I will punch you in the face with another butt of like I'm gonna do a thing that I'm gonna say. It's been a while since I did these outros, so just forgive me for that. I will see you next time.
I just want to address something that was said by our best friends. Poopy, shitty, covered in poop all the time, Ethan Klein, and his wife, terrorist war criminal, the raider of Ramallah, Hila Klein. What they said about our need to honor and cherish IDF veterans. So let's play this clip and we will hear what they have to say about that, and then I will give my own thoughts on it. And don't you dare say anything negative about them. This woman served her country. Don't you dare say anything bad about her. Just watch, please.
Important to serve like everybody else in the country. I mean, it's a very selfish move to decide, okay, I'm not going to do it, but everybody else will.
Like Israel as a place, the mentality of growing up there, like everybody feels an obligation to protect, to serve, to nurture this place that feels like the only place in the world where they can live and be be Jewish and not be like discriminated.
I mean, when you're growing up,
It's so great. Ethan Klein, like you're discriminated against. Oh, sorry. I mean, he's completely right there, 100% correct. What else have I got to say?
What do you want her to do? She's born there.
I'm born there, and that is like your duty to your country.
That's her
Everybody does
duty.
it. So, first of all, you're saying all of Israelis are bad and terrorists.
That's part of the messaging, sure.
And I guess you're saying you in America don't care about doing your duties to America. Like you don't pay taxes and you don't, I don't know.
Well, they would
do
say
anything that is demanded of you as a citizen.
people would say, "Oh well, if you were actually a good person, you would just go to military prison instead of."
Okay, in your opinion, if you, I mean,
in your opinion,
you live your life.
Well, the thing about Israel is like whether you hate the government, agree with the government, whatever you think about Israel, the fact of the matter is that from the day of its inception, it's been in a constant state of war with the neighbors. So just from a national security point of view, the need for a standing army is undeniable. You know what I mean? So like the mandatory.
Yeah, and I mean, Nazi Germany also had to defend itself from threats, foreign and domestic, on all sides. The need for a standing army was undeniable. Though perhaps what the standing army defends was in fact not defensible. Maybe that's the problem.
Conscription makes a lot of sense, and very few of the people who get conscripted actually are doing combat. Most of them are like
they're just helping the murder. That makes it okay. They're accomplices.
Administrative jobs, which is what you did.
And I don't know.
Yeah, she literally worked at a desk in like the Kafir battalion, which is like one of the most brutal, disgusting occupation units in the West Bank. So she was literally working directly under the regional commander, straight up planning their operations and shit like that. Without her being there, what they were doing could not happen. Obviously, she's a fucking accomplice.
If it's like people here can't grasp that idea because here the army is not mandatory. It's very different.
Here we just take advantage of poor minorities.
But also then you tell them thank you for your service for the rest of life, right? Like they're very highly
Thank you for your
respected,
service.
and
Yeah.
you can't say anything bad about them. That would
You can't say anything bad about murderous genocide. No, she's right. She's right, actually. She's
be really
100% correct.
insane.
That's true. I mean, I agree.
So it's kind of the same thing, except actually way different because everybody does it and have to do it.
Yeah.
And Israel deals with like the war daily, like locally, which is here. It's like the war is like way far.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all very different.
Yeah. So it's like whether you agree with them or not, the need for national security is undeniable. And
you should thank them.
Again, she was born there, so I don't know.
You should thank the IDF veterans for their service. Ethan and Hila Klein say. I completely agree. I completely agree with what they had to say there. You should thank them for their service. Now, if you don't know this, people in Israel, most of them, you know, they have connections to other places, or they literally just aren't even from Israel. So many people join the IDF like to have a good time, and then they move somewhere else in the world. So it's very easy to find IDF veterans near you. If you live in any Western country, at any point, you're probably never more than like 5 blocks away from your local IDF veteran. They're everywhere. Many of them even just go to Israel to serve in the military for a little bit, to do their duty to their country, to protect it from all threats. And they go back to where they came from and just live their lives as if nothing ever happened. And you've probably talked to them and you've never even noticed. You probably never even clock them as a veteran. So what I'm making a call for here is for everyone to find and salute your local IDF veteran. Thank them for their service. Find and salute them. Salute them. I am calling for IDF veterans to, as Hila Klein said, get the recognition that they deserve, the thanks they deserve for serving their country. Find and salute your local IDF veteran. Doesn't matter where you are, you have one nearby. Find and salute them and let them know how much you appreciate their service. What do you mean salute in quotes? I'm literally telling you to salute them. Walk up to them, say hello. I really appreciate what you did, sir. You do this, find and salute your local IDF veteran, okay? I completely 100% agree with Hila and Ethan Klein that it is honorable and noble to serve in the Israeli army, and that its veterans need the recognition that they deserve rather than just walking around in other countries anonymous as if nothing ever happened. Like, imagine how much it sucks to be someone who selflessly served in the honorable Israeli military. You just go home and you don't even get like a McDonald's discount or anything. You don't even get like people saluting you in the street. You don't even get to wear a hat saying like, I served in the Marines, give me free stuff. It must fucking suck. They don't get the recognition they deserve. And that's why I'm calling for all of you to find and salute your local IDF veteran or veterans. Thank you. If they're covered in shit like Ethan Klein, give them a shower. So I have long said that pro-Israel people, especially those who try and frame themselves as like more logical debaters who are on the Israeli side as a result of firm reasoning rather than just rank appeal to supporting Israeli crimes and Zionism, like Loner Box and Destiny, for example. The way that they operate is they will uncritically believe anything that the Israeli state says, or at least present it as if they believe it, while questioning that of the actual people being genocided. So they take the claims of the genocidal power, attempting to legitimize its genocide at face value, overanalyzing to the extent of parody the claims of which are obviously way more valid, not just because of the people being genocided, but because they're corroborated in a million more different independent ways. Like, you know, Israeli mass rape is proven not just by video of it fucking happening, but by literally like 80 separate people independently corroborating the same story without any sort of institutional like backing behind them. Like, you know, they're not being told this by Hamas, nothing like that. They're not being presented to the media by Hamas. These are independent people who went and found like random journalists to tell their story to, which then filtered into the mainstream. On the Israeli side, it's like there's no, like they have every reason for there to be video evidence. There's cameras everywhere, yet they have nothing. The best they have is like, well, the Israeli state said that this one anonymous witness who they definitely have, who only appeared, who they only started talking about like a year after the supposed event happened, she definitely saw someone being raped, and we can't name who they are, nor can we tell you who did it to them, nor can we provide any evidence aside from their word. Believe us. There's clearly nothing close to the quality of evidence there, unless you ask Lonerbox. What does Lonerbox have to say about this? How does he justify him believing one but not the other? Let's find out. Well, you realize the evidence of rape in Israel is stronger because Israeli military investigators and Israeli doctors provided it. Agents of the Israeli state said so. That makes it more legitimate. And get this, Israel is a democracy too. That's also, Israel is a democracy. You know, Israel, which rules over millions upon millions of people with literally no rights. Aside from the right to be massacred, it's a democracy. Believe him. Israeli military investigators and Israeli doctors said so. Now, this is obviously insane, right? Like, agents of a genocidal state saying so is certainly not something that is stronger than random independent people all corroborating the same thing and providing actual real evidence of it, you know, via photos, films on their phone, or whatever. And then usually this stuff is then also corroborated by like Israeli soldiers when interviewed, admitting to it and stuff like that. Like there's nothing even close between these two. So he has to like appeal to just the notion, well, Israel is a state, right? States are more reliable. I mean, the fucking opposite is true in a case like this, obviously. And then like, well, Israeli military investigators and doctors, and also it's a democracy and that makes it more reliable. So it just sort of saying so, that makes it true, you know? This was like in the vein of him denying Israeli mass rape, denying the UN reporting to Israeli mass rape as well, which obviously he did. Someone who says that like unidentified random witness testimony, not corroborated by anything, solely filtered through and provided by the Israeli state, is something that we should rely on even when they can't even name one fucking victim. And they obviously have a perverse incentive to fake this shit, given that they believe it justifies their genocide. He's happy to believe that, and yet he has a ton of questions to ask about Palestinians, random Palestinians, in a place where any sort of institutional control of anything is clearly broken down, recording Israeli crimes at a billion different angles with dozens of different witnesses all saying the same fucking thing about them independently. Not good enough. You know what is good enough though? The Israeli military investigators and Israeli state doctors saying so. You can't name one victim, but hey, the Israeli state said so, and that's good enough for this fucking disgusting genocidal Zionist freak, who I'm happy to report has a dying channel. He makes no money anymore because his entire audience, like all of the money that he had, relied on the audience overlap with Destiny, which he doesn't get anymore. If there could ever be any more evidence that this is the way these fuckers operate, like trying to find roundabout ways to justify made-up Israeli bullshit, while finding roundabout ways to discount a million times better evidence things about their genocide victims. It's attempts to justify genocide. This guy Box is genocidal. And by the way, just while we're here, he'd do that, just in case you missed it. Why is he doing this? Well, aside from the obvious payments that he's getting from Zionist propaganda organizations, and he was also getting paid by Destiny to work with him, Destiny, another genocidal maniac, he's been doing this in exchange for like sexting with fanatical Zionists on Discord. That's another reason, another one of the incentives for this. Just in case you missed me covering this on its own, I'm going to insert it in here just so that we all know. This guy sold his soul for this. Mine. In my fantasy, you fill my pussy with your cum and watch it drip out. I'd do that. He says to Kosher Katie, a fanatical Zionist Destiny fan. Box, someone who spent years trying to frame himself as like a nuanced pro-Palestinian advocate who was just, not as extreme as the others, who went on a trip to Israel and hung out with Elon Levy, the modern-day Joseph Goebbels, sold his fucking soul for a YouTube channel where he cannot be making much money at all, given the lack of views that it gets. And one where, as well, he pays an editor because he's too fucking lazy to edit his clips himself, I guess, which is just another expense on top of everything else. So he's clearly not making money from it. He's not getting paid by Destiny anymore. So we have to ask, where is the money coming from? And the answer to that is Zionist organizations paying him to do propaganda. So yeah, I'd do that. In order to sex with Kosher Katie? I'd do that. Anything for bland sexting with a Zionist. And also a lot of Zionist money. He'd do that.
What's the most devious way a creator could betray their friends and fans? Is it recording, then leaking private conversations in hopes of exposing them?
Recently, I got into a back and forth with Lorek. This season of American Crime is Legal is getting even crazier. I haven't been posting on this channel because truthfully, I've been too depressed. Maybe depressed isn't the right word. Disillusioned, disenchanted, disgusted is probably more apt. But lately we've seen sort of an escalation of this with the SEC basically dropping every possible slam dunk case they have. Like the Hawk Tua girl, she had her investigation closed, obviously because she basically did more or less what the president did. Yes, it was a little bit worse, but kind of would look bad if you took out somebody for a meme coin while the president did it. But that's sort of your run-of-the-mill stuff you see a lot. I wouldn't even be commenting on it, except that we've now moved from not just not going after people who've done something wrong, but sort of releasing the prisoners from Arkham. I am talking about Trevor Milton. He's one of the OG fraudsters of the 21st century. This guy faked a hydrogen truck company, which was called out by Hindenburg Research, where he rolled a truck down a hill and told everyone that it worked, okay? He got arrested, sentenced to 4 years in prison, but now he won't be finishing that because he got an unconditional pardon from President Trump. This is from his Twitter account.
What's up, guys? Oh my gosh. You won't believe just what happened. Sorry, it's pretty hard for me to talk about, but probably the best day I've had in 5 years. I just got a call from the President of the United States on my phone, and he signed a full and unconditional pardon of innocence. I am free. The prosecutors can no longer hurt me. They can't destroy my family. They can't rip everything away from me. They can't ruin my life. I get to be with my wife now. I get to be with my family. It is done. It's over.
Now, at first, I was positive this was fake. Trevor Milton is like, the case was so open and shut I mean, it literally was already over. He had already been arrested. According to the DOJ, Trevor Milton lied to investors again and again on social media, on television, on podcasts, and in print. But today's sentence should be a warning to startup founders and corporate executives everywhere. Fake it till you make it is not an excuse for fraud. And if you mislead your investors, you will pay a stiff price. Oh, no, you won't. Actually, you won't. Actually, you'll get away with it. Just donate some money to Donald J. Trump, because it turns out Trevor Milton, right before his pardon, coincidentally, had donated over $1 million to the Trump campaign and done the same thing that SBF is doing, where he's like trying to pitch for like, I'm a Trump guy now. Because what all these guys know is if you pitch that, oh, I'm on Team Trump, then maybe you'll get away with it all. We see this from Donald J. Trump. I thought it was fake, like I said. I refused to report on this until we got Trump actually commenting on it, because I just didn't believe it was possible.
What was your reason for pardoning Trevor Milton?
Highly recommended by many people, that was taken advantage of. He did a business deal like in Utah, as I have it, and I think he was exonerated, and then they brought him into New York. We had a rough road. I mean, he was exonerated. It was a big celebration. Again, I don't know him, but I was. They say it was very unfair, and they say the thing that he did wrong was he was one of the first people that supported a gentleman named Donald Trump for president.
So if you support Donald Trump for president, you can do whatever crime you want. To be clear, that wasn't what he did wrong. Nobody was mad at him for going for Trump. Yes, he all of a sudden started donating money to Trump's campaign. But when Trevor Milton says, oh, this is my best day in 5 years, I'll tell you why it's his best day in 5 years. Because Hindenburg Research revealed how they parlayed an ocean of lies into a partnership. They're doing this fake it till you make it thing. But it's not your average, like, oh, we're slightly exaggerating some of our details. We actually, they had a truck. They said they had this hydrogen-powered truck that worked, but it turned out they were rolling it down a hill. Like, this wasn't the role for Donald Trump. They're just lying about the capabilities of their vehicle. This was not powered by hydrogen here. It was rolling. I mean, guys, what are we doing here? In addition, they had internal emails where they revealed that their truck, which was supposed to be powered again by just hydrogen, but instead